I'm an American who moved to Belgium, and it is amazing, truly, how comfortable Europeans are with shitting on my country, my culture, and the people of my country. Superiority complex is crazy.
Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be talking about why more Americans are moving to Europe. A growing number of Americans are packing up and heading to Europe, and it's not just for adventure. Many are leaving behind rising costs, broken healthcare, and constant stress for a better quality of life abroad. Countries like Portugal, Spain, Italy, and Germany are seeing waves of US expats looking for stability, safety, and affordability. In Europe, people are finding walkable cities, affordable healthcare, generous vacation time, and slower paced living. For remote workers and retirees, it's an especially attractive move. Even families are relocating, seeking better school, public services, and lower crime rates. Meanwhile, American cities are grappling with housing crisis, job insecurity, and burnout culture. This growing exodus is a sign that something at home isn't working. It's not about running away, it's about choosing a life that feels livable. For many, Europe offers what the American dream no longer does. So let's dive into the video and watch.
Well, hello there. So I realized this morning that in the original video that I posted about my journey of why I'm leaving the United States, that I would keep you guys updated on my journey and where I'm at and through the process of it. So I think it's time for an update. I am here sitting down on the eve of Donald Trump's second inauguration, and I don't have the mental capacity to even think about what's happening beyond Monday. I'm planning my move. I picked a city, I picked a deadline, and that city is Paris. I think I've been dropping hints about that, and all my close friends know already that I decided to move to Paris in September 2025. Depending on circumstances, like if I get a really good job in New York, I'll stay for an extra year. Or if like visa or immigration issues arise, I will, adjust my timeline. But right now, I want to get out of here. Like in Europe, everything shuts down in August, so that's the perfect time for me to like plan a move. And then September is when things will open back up, and I'm doing a lot of things at once. I'm launching my furniture line finally, and building my company for digital illustration, professional organizations, interior design services, and just doing a great deal of things. So a bit on my bipolar disorder and my adjustment to my meds. I'm completely adjusted to my meds now. I'm getting good sleep. We're back to everything like that. Still waiting to get Medicaid and some public assistance while I get back to work. I applied for a really good job today and yesterday, a bunch of really good jobs, and I've had a really rough year. I haven't worked since August, and kind of like fell behind in all my bills in life. And I shout out to a lot of my friends who've offered help within the last 2 months or month, or whatever. It feels like 2 months. Last month or two is December and January. I really appreciate it. I love you guys very much, and you guys are family. And I think it's a reminder that people need to look out for each other, and closed mouths don't get fed. So I was struggling for a year, very depressed, off my meds, and didn't tell anyone in my life. No one knew. So no one knowing, meaning no one was there to offer help for me, and help was available from my friends as well as the city, as well as the government. Even though I'm moving out of the United States, New York City, New York State in particular, has very good social services for people in terms of housing and healthcare and things like that. Currently, I'm on an uninsured program. So when I read the letter a few weeks ago saying I had insurance, I have coverage for PrEP and HIV prevention treatment for psychiatry treatment, but I still don't have any coverage for therapy or medications. I pay out of pocket, a small copay for a lot of my medications that, it's harder when you're not working. Well, I'm working. I'm have an LLC and forming my company from the ground up that is costing me money versus making me any money yet. So it's been a wild roller coaster of a January of 2025 so far. And I'm here. We're here. I want to just say that I love everyone. I am optimistic of the future, not in America necessarily, but in the future in general. I think we can all get through this. I am running away from the problems here to face my own somewhere else, but I'll be back every quarter, at least twice, and I'm still going to be paying attention and rooting for all the Americans out there. TikTok is back, so there's hope. There's a light of hope. There's a glimmer at the end of the tunnel, and that's my update. So thank you, and have a good one.
Here are the top 5 reasons why Americans are moving to Europe today. Number 1 is cost of living. It's significantly cheaper to live in Europe than the US today. Number 2, access to healthy food. All we get in the US are packaged food. Here in Europe, you get access to healthy food easily. Number 3, access to public transportation. Since moving to the UK, I've never had to drive. My commute used to be 2 hours a day, and now I walk everywhere. Number 4, access to community. It's so difficult to have a community in the US because everyone is so far from each other. We all need to drive to get to the meetup place, whereas here, all I gotta do is walk. Number 5, access to healthcare. Everyone has free healthcare here in Europe, whereas in the US, you need a job in order to access good healthcare.
Where are all my Americans who have moved to Southern Europe and actually make a Southern European salary? And you know what? You don't even have to be from the US. Basically, any country that is wealthier than the Southern European countries are. So for me, I moved to Milano, Italy in 2018. I already lived here in 2016 for a year, but I moved here for the long term, full time in February of 2018, and I found a job in October of that same year. And ever since, I've been making a Southern European salary and worse, an Italian salary. If you didn't know this, salaries in Italy have not increased in decades. I think it's like over 30 years that salaries have been stagnant. And I talk about this often on my page, the pros and cons of living and especially working in Italy. Unfortunately, one of the biggest cons to working here is the pay, especially as a Westerner. When you come here and you find out how low the salaries are, it's very discouraging. A lot of people do go back to their home countries or they move somewhere else where the salaries are obviously higher. But I've always been curious if there is a large community of people who have moved to Southern Europe and actually make a Southern European salary, because especially a lot of the Americans I meet, especially a lot of the Canadians that I meet, they usually either are digital nomads working for a North American company, making a North American salary, or they decided to open up their own brand, their own business, offering some sort of product or service, catering to North American clients. And listen, I'm not judging anyone. I'm not here to say that that's wrong. I'm not here to say that that's not what one should do when they move to Italy or to Southern Europe in general. But I've always wondered if there are people like me who came here with the intention of actually working here with Italians, making an Italian salary, having those Italian vacation days and other benefits that come with being employed full-time in
I
Italy.
moved to Belgium, and it is amazing, truly, how comfortable Europeans are with shitting on my country, my culture, and the people of my country. Superiority complex is crazy sometimes. I want to talk about it, especially because it would not be accepted towards any other country, but the US it's fine, it's okay. People come up to me, make jokes about Americans are so fat, and they don't know geography, and their schooling is shit, the education is shit, people are really dumb, they're not hardworking, they're pretty lazy. And it's really funny because the majority of those people have never been to the US, and if they have, clock it, they've been to New York, Miami, or LA, and generalize an entire country with nearly 400 million people. The majority of these people are wearing all American brands, consuming all American artists, and streaming all American shows and movies. So what is it? You like it when it entertains you, but then also want to actively shit on it. Please make it make sense. Politically, my country's on fire right now, actually burning to the ground. So if you want to talk about politics all day, every day, I am here to entertain that and actually like laugh at the jokes and agree with you, because it's embarrassing. Like what's happening is devastating. But when it comes to the people, the culture, which they claim we don't have culture, and the tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, of beautiful, hardworking, and very talented Americans, I feel kind of a duty to defend, because I just think it's kind of bullshit. Like, it's just kind of bullshit. And it's giving very close-minded and dense. But it's funny because if I meet someone new, not always, but sometimes, it's when they hear that I'm American, they feel so comfortable going right into all of the criticisms, which is super unfortunate because, for example, my girlfriend, when she comes to the US, people are literally praising. They love the fact that she's from Belgium, the fact that she's from Europe. They think it's actually incredible and they want to learn more, and they're asking questions, and they think that it's so amazing, like learning about a different culture. For those of you who don't know, we have culture. We have a lot of it. The country is literally built off of immigrants. So we have so much unique, different ethnic cultures, African American culture, music, the food there, insane. And I get it. Just say you haven't like traveled without saying you haven't traveled to the US properly. I would encourage you to go to more than just the touristy cities, and you'll really experience the culture and see how nice American people are, how well they can host you, how good the food is. I am all for giving criticism to my country in terms of healthcare. It's shit. Our political system, it's shit. And to our current president, fuck him. But when it comes to the actual beauty of growing up American, I need to talk about it. My experience was incredible. I literally, when I tell my girlfriend's friends, who are very nice, by the way, they're always super intrigued that I had that kind of like High School Musical Glee experience of being in theater and then being in drama club, but then being on the football team and then going to the pep assemblies and the rallies on Fridays for the Friday night lights, and being in photography class, but then also being in a pottery class. That was my experience. And I loved the way I grew up. I love being American, not in the sense of the political ties that come with it, but I love the simplicity of how I grew up. If you're watching this and you have caught yourself saying some of these things, I would encourage you to refrain. I would encourage you to do your research, actually experience the culture, form your own opinions, and think before you say. They have effects, and actually just is not a good look on you in general, because, again, kind of giving closed-minded and dense. So to conclude, no, you are not better or superior because you're European. We don't have control over our politics. Well, at least I don't, because I didn't vote for the man, and neither did a large majority of the country. So please be kind and save the judgments for your head.
Thank you for your likes, guys, and let's continue watching the videos. I do appreciate it.
I lived in Europe for 7 years. Here are some ways my quality of life is higher in the US. I do live in New York City, which I feel like isn't that American of a city. But the first way in which my quality of life has improved is regarding finances. I am a lot more financially secure in the US. And although towards the end of my time in Europe, I was a lot more financially comfortable, my salary has still almost quadrupled being back in the US. And I don't think this is a surprise to anyone. I think it's just well known that you just make more money in the States. And although in Europe I did experience like a better social system, I still didn't feel like I had great capacity to save enough money while I was living there. The messed up thing about this country is that you are typically assigned these luxuries like healthcare if you produce value. The next thing I'm going to talk about is social life. I love my friends in Europe, but one thing that I noticed traveling and living around Europe is that socially, a lot of European countries and cultures are severely lacking. Even in the places where people would consider, the locals to be a lot nicer, like Italy or Spain. A lot of these cultures are not as social as a lot of people make them out to be. If you go to a party or an event, how many people are actually going to approach you and talk to you? And this is one of my favorite things about living in New York City. I will be sitting on a park bench and someone will come up to me and start a conversation. When I walk my mom's dog, the amount of positive interactions that I have with strangers on the street is crazy. People are a lot more approachable here. When you go to a party or an event, you will make friends. You will talk to people. Whereas I feel like this is not such a huge thing in a lot of European societies. It is encouraged to just mind your business and, talk to your friends or stick with the people that you came in with. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was living in Europe and young and loud and didn't care about anything, I had a great social life there. But as I got older, the asocial nature of a lot of European cultures started to get to me. And so not having to do so much heavy lifting in the US is just a sigh of relief for me right now. Next thing I'm going to talk about is access to opportunity. I'm not going to say that this is only because I'm a citizen, because I think that foreigners and immigrants who come here have access to opportunity as well. But in Europe, I feel like having access to opportunity is very difficult as a foreigner. And what I mean by that is I feel like you have to do a lot of heavy lifting to just have access to like the smallest thing there. Or the opportunity that you're looking for does not necessarily exist in your country. If I wanted to make money here, there are multiple things that I can do to do that. And so right now in my life, what I'm prioritizing is security. And financial security has come to me very easily in the States that I can now consider buying a home or buying an apartment somewhere. I can consider helping my parents retire. And all of this is possible just because I decided to move back to the US.
We are digital nomads, and these are the reasons why we wanted to move from the United States and come to Spain. The first reason is just the work-life balance. Back in the States, I actually had a really great job, but on the downside, I was constantly working. Even with my days off, I felt like I still had to work in order to make some money or to be able to live up to the expectations. I just got super tired of that, and so that was one of the reasons why we wanted to make that switch. Number two is going to be the quality of food and overall expenses. Back in the United States, no matter how clean or how healthy we thought we were eating, we constantly felt like we were either bloated, upset, or other medical things that were going on that just really frustrated us. The other thing is just the overall expenses. When we were trying to eat healthy, it always cost way more. It didn't matter how much you make because everything felt like it kept on going up. So we just got tired of that and decided that Europe was going to be a better solution for that problem. And lastly, number three is just being able to travel. This ties in partially to my job back in the States, with the fact that I didn't feel like I could really take any time off. Now, with being digital nomads, my wife has always been one and has been able to pick up and go whenever she pleases. She just brings her computer, and as long as we have internet, she's able to do her work. And with coming here, I also had to take on doing a remote job. So I've switched jobs, and it's been great since. So if you feel like this resonates with you, go ahead and follow, or if you have some other comments, drop them down below. I'm gonna go over these details in other videos on this platform and then also on YouTube to go in more detail about the different reasons why we decided to make this move.
My mom and I decided we will be moving to Albania. Here's why and here's how. I was on an Italian travel visa, which means you can be in Italy for up to 90 days as an American. No paperwork, just go, which I did. And it was amazing. And 2 out of 3 months, I was blissfully employed, living my best life, eating food, speaking Italian, hitting on all the locals. Then the 3rd month happens. I lose my job along with several other people in the music instruments and pro audio industry. Tariffs was the reason given. Come back here. It's not looking any better. Inflation's increasing, unemployment's increasing, opportunities are decreasing, social services are decreasing, racism's increasing, sexism's increasing. This is not the country I grew up in. So obviously, I want to go back to Italy. However, you need at least 6 months of work history and some minimum amount, I want to say it's like 30,000 euros a year to qualify. I don't want to wait 6 months. My mom's retired. She's living on Social Security. Her Social Security doesn't meet that threshold either. So Italy's out, unfortunately. And that's a shame because outside of English, Italian would be the second language that we could speak-ish. And we could absolutely learn. Then I look at Spain, and mind you, I'm talking to companies who help Americans move to Italy or Spain. I connect with a great company for Spain. The requirements are half that of Italy. For a digital nomad visa, it's not 6 months of work history, it's 3. I want to say the minimum, the annual earnings needs to probably be around 30,000 euros. So again, my mom and I don't meet the requirements at this time. Albania, however, will let any American, regardless of job status, amount of money, I mean, I think you need like 12,000, whatever, for a longer term. But for 1 year, without the legislation and bureaucracy and bullshit, Americans can move to Albania. And Albania, Durrës, is a ferry ride away from Bari, Italy. So that's the plan. My mom and I are in the process of selling everything we can find in the house or donating so that we can then sell my house, because the mortgage alone is more money than my mom and I have on a monthly basis. So in a matter of months, I will not be able to afford this house if I don't sell it. And with the way this big, beautiful bill and everything else is happening with fucking alligator Auschwitz, like, it's time to go. So anyone else who feels the same, who has the ability to leave, if your parents are living with you and they're on Social Security and you have the ability to work remote, now is the time. All I know is we have to rehome 3 cats. 2 out of the 3 cats we have, I found homes for a family member and a friend. Thank you guys, by the way. We're going to take our 2 dogs with us. And in terms of Albania, it sounds like Americans can be there for 1 year. It's not part of the Schengen region, which is 20 plus countries, including Italy, Spain, Germany, France, etc. So we can spend a year in Albania, cross over to Italy by ferry to Bari, stay there for 3 months, and then re-enter the country and start that clock all over again. It is extremely cheap to live in Albania. When looking into it, I put $2,000 a month as the Social Security, the USD my mom receives. That's more than enough for 2 people to live comfortably in Albania. I will have savings and I will try to find another job remote and freelance and whatever in the meantime. It sounds crazy, but the reality is we could get out from under this house and everything else and be more comfortable for the next year while we try to figure this out and while we stay the hell out of the United States. And I feel so terrible for everyone who isn't as flexible as my mom and I. But this feels like the way out. So I hope this information helps someone.
Okay, so I think it's time to get into a little bit of story time. I keep getting the message and the question, why are you an American in Greece? How did you end up here? And it's time to explain. About 4 years ago, I took a absolute girls trip and had this full-on Mamma Mia moment, and I met a guy. And now 4 years later, we're sitting here moving to Greece. Anyways, 4 years ago, COVID, right? All the borders are shut, travel bans in place. In 2021, July, the borders open and Europe allows Americans to come visit. Flights and hotels, accommodations, were so cheap. But to go transatlantic, they were very decently priced. I remember spending $1,444 on the whole trip, all-included package. It was LA to New York, New York to Athens, Athens to Santorini, Santorini to Mykonos, Mykonos to Paris, Paris back to LA. Ferries were included, hotels were included, and I always remember that number 1,444 for 2 reasons. The first reason is because I always feel like 444 is like an angel number, it brings good omen, it just has positive things associated to it. The second reason, and the most memorable reason, is I didn't have the money at the moment to pay for that trip. Our friend spotted me. She was like, I want to go to Greece so bad, let's go, I will pay for this, just pay me back. I knew I had some money coming in, I was just like waiting for my paycheck. We took this trip, and it was the most unbelievable experience I've ever had. It was my first time visiting New York, it was my first time going to Europe. I was starstruck by what I had seen as being from Los Angeles my whole life. And I had visited like Mexico, Hawaii, just various other states within America, but I'd never gone abroad across the Atlantic. I was blown away. I loved it, Spoiler alert, I'm sitting here. Within the first hour of Mykonos, which is our last stop, there's a car crash that happens in front of us. These 3 people, in an argument behind us because of this car crash. One was for sure Greek, one was for sure American, and then the third one was just kind of translating in between and facilitating and trying to help. So I wasn't totally sure if they were Greek or American or who they were. But that third person who was the translator was also super freaking cute. He was the cutest boy I'd ever seen. And I was to my girlfriends, I'm like, guys, I'm gonna go give him my number. He is so stressed out right now. Look how stressed out he is. He needs me to cheer him up, obviously. So I told my girlfriends, I'm gonna go write my number on the back of this receipt and I'm gonna go give it to him. I remember my girls being like, no, you're so embarrassing, don't do that. I'm happy I did it. Tapped him on the back, was like, hey, you look super stressed out right now and I want to change your day. So call me. And I handed him my receipt with my number on the back. And he was like so shocked. He looked like a deer in headlights. I thought I'd scared him. I literally thought that he was like, this girl's psycho, get away from me. He comes up to us at the bus stop once he's done translating and facilitating the car crash. And it's like, are you guys going into town? Like, I'll take you, I have my car here. And I was like, yes. Always prefer like a little ride instead of a bus. And whoever's watching this, do not get into a stranger's car. Do not get into a stranger's car. Do not get into a stranger's car. That is like so dangerous and naive, and that is how like bad things happen. So don't do that. Anyway, gives us a ride into town, and on the ride into town starts telling us like some history facts about Mykonos and Greece. And the last thing he says is, it's my birthday. Tonight I'm gonna have a table in town and you guys should come and we can, drink, have fun. I'm like, there's no way it's your birthday. You're just lying. You want us to come out with you. You can just tell me. And he was like, no, it's like my birthday. Like, I swear on my life. And I was like, oh, happy birthday. So we went out into town that night with him. That night we ended up talking about politics, the world, economies, family, careers, internships, life. Like, we were drinking a bottle in like the little Venice, Mykonos alleyways with loud music around us, like talking about like political parties and the world. There was honestly nothing sexy or erotic about this night. We did kiss, I will be honest. We did kiss, but nothing else. We just had a really, really, really nice connection. I found out he thought that later, but I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, that was really cool. Like, we met this guy today. He drove us into town. He took us out for his birthday. He asked to see me the next day. I was with my girlfriends and I wanted to honor the girls' trip, especially in Mykonos. So I didn't see him the next day, but our final day there, we all went for crepes, just to like have a little sweet together and say goodbye. We keep in touch. About a week to 2 weeks later, he told me, I don't think you actually got to experience Greece. We kept in touch. We started like FaceTiming and texting, just like little cute pen pals from across the world. He's like, I don't think you really got to experience Greece and I want you to come back. And I want to show you like my Greece, because you did the Acropolis Greece, you did tourist Greece. And I was like, okay. Again, disclaimer for the children, for the older generation, for the teenagers, or whatever age you are, I don't recommend getting into strangers' cars. I also don't recommend getting on a plane and going across the world for a stranger either, that you've kissed one night in Mykonos. Like, these were some crazy, naive, and rash decisions made by myself. And I want to acknowledge that and say that I don't recommend them for literally anyone else. I am really lucky that my boyfriend is an amazing person, an amazing guy, has a fantastic character, and is a genuine, honest person. But, I mean, I just don't want to pretend like every random person's car or every random person across the world would put you in a good situation. Now that my disclaimer is over, back to the story. So, I do in fact come back a month later to go to Rome, Florence, and then he just shows me like Athens for what it is. I meet his friends, I meet his family, and the rest is history. I'm recording this on my 15th or 16th trip back, and I have decided that I think we'll just stay. So that is story time complete. My full Mamma Mia moment. Also, don't mind my glasses that literally need to be adjusted and tightened. They've been falling down my face for like a week now, and I'm freaking out about it. And I know I probably went like this like 16,000 times in this video. If it annoyed you, I'm sorry. It's annoying me even more because it's on my face. Be here. We're gonna stay here for a little bit. The political situation in America right now is super interesting, and while that all gets sorted out at home, we'll just like enjoy Greece. Pretty hard not to enjoy. So thanks for listening.
This is a great question. And while I can't speak for everyone else because I don't know, I have an idea on a lot of people's reasonings, and a lot of it's the government, a lot of it's safety, a lot of it is that the Dutch-American Friendship Treaty provides a pretty easy access to a visa. But outside of that, I don't know. I don't know if it's like the pull of Amsterdam or what. I think it's also less of a scary place because a lot of Americans don't know any other languages since they were so isolated over there. And Canada speaks English, Mexico speaks Spanish. So it's very like, if you know a second language, it's usually Spanish. However, it's not going to be Dutch. And so when they hear like, oh, this European country speaks a lot of English, it's really okay to go there and learn Dutch once you're there, it scares them less about moving. For me personally, it's because my family lives here. So my mom is from the Netherlands. She is from Vlissingen in Zeeland. And she was born and grew up part of her life in Beverwijk. I have family who still lives in Beverwijk, Groningen, Tilburg, Amsterdam, Vlissingen, and a few other rural areas in the country. So I have a lot of family here, all of whom have already been over to help. Like, we have a welcome banner in our house because of my family. So they're very sweet, but they're very excited that we're finally here. And I will say that if I didn't need to get my Dutch citizenship back because I lost it a few years ago, so I have to go back through the option procedure to get it, which means I have to live here for a year, I would have strongly considered moving to Belgium instead, because most of my family is in the south, and so it would have been an easy transition as well. Belgium also doesn't make you retake an entire driving test. You can just transfer your license. There were a lot of positives to that. However, I wouldn't regain my Dutch citizenship, which is allowing us access to the EU. And I also had to come in under the Dutch-American Friendship Treaty visa, which is frustrating, considering how much, of my life has been surrounded in Dutch everything, including many, many visits here as a child and growing up partially here as a child. So it was a little jarring when I found out that my citizenship was just gone. But I do understand that there's a housing crisis, and that's one reason that we stayed out of the Randstad region and decided to kind of go elsewhere and go towards my family again, like we're in Tilburg. So it just worked out better that way for us, as well as my thought process was, more people are, especially Dutch people, are looking in the Randstad region for housing, and like if they have a job in Amsterdam or anything like that, they need to get there. So let's not clog up that area. Let's go elsewhere. Let's go near my family. But that is really the main reason that it's the Netherlands. We also had looked at Ireland, but apparently their housing crisis might be even worse than this one. And again, this was the only access to an EU passport. And I really would like to get my dual citizenship back, because it just not great being an American right now.
Hey, thanks a ton for watching. I really appreciate all the likes, shares, and everyone who subscribed. It seriously helps the channel grows. If you're new here, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. I've got more videos coming your way soon. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.